Would you think it was strange if a woman loved another woman?
No. Sorry.
It's not you. You didn't. It's just most people think it's wicked.
Why?
I don't know. They think it's a sin to love someone, that we should burn in hell.
It's not as bad as marrying someone you don't like.
So that was a clip from Summerland. Now, here's a sentence I haven't said for a while, which is out in cinemas today. Anyway, Gemma Arterton can tell us because she's the star of the movie. Hello, Gemma.
Hi.
Now, this is great. So this is like the return of normality. Your movie is in the cinema.
Yeah, I mean, we're really privileged actually to be able to be one of the first, if not the first, films to be in the cinema post-lockdown. And it sort of feels like the right sort of film to put in at this point. It's very hopeful and optimistic and maybe it's the sort of film that people need right now, in that it's, it's a positive message and it makes you feel good at the end. It makes you feel all the feels. But it's a thing. I mean, no one's been to the cinema for ages. So hopefully that will be something that people do.
It's also a very beautiful film. It's a very elegant film, isn't it? There are some, we don't need to go into too much detail, but there's some business with clouds. And it looks stunning. I mean, I didn't watch it in the cinema, but it's the kind of movie you think on a big screen this would look terrific, and nice cliff scene and so on. So anyway, so let's get into. So you last time you were on the show was for Girl with All the Gifts, which is 4 years ago. So
right.
We've waited. So
time flies.
Yes,
oh
absolutely.
My gosh.
So tell us about Summerland. Tell us what Summerland is and who you are.
Right. Summerland is set during the Blitz in the south of England. It's about a writer called Alice, who is a folklore debunker. So she disproves myth. And she's a recluse. She is a very cantankerous, lonely woman who is all of a sudden, an evacuee turns up on her doorstep from London, Frank, and she has to look after him. And with the introduction of Frank in her life, she's flooded by memories, flashbacks of her previous love affair that she had when she was at university. And also the character of Frank draws out of her, softens her up, but also makes her sort of believe in some of the folklore that she's trying to debunk. And their relationship grows stronger. And it's a story about imagination and what if of life. What if there was magic? What if there was the possibility to rekindle past loves? And it's very beautiful, as you say, and unlike anything I'd seen for a long time, and also explores magic realism, which is something that I am always drawn to in literature and art, and it's very sort of artfully done, I think, in this film.
Yes, it absolutely is. You mentioned the word cantankerous to describe Alice, which is absolutely right. What a great word cantankerous is. What can you say about why she is so cantankerous? I mean, a preamble to that. How long is it, do you think, Gemma, before you smile in this film?
Well, I know when my first smile is, and it's when I steal the chocolate from the little girl in the shop.
but that's okay. But that's malevolent. That's a wicked smile.
Oh, well, a genuine happy smile.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's 29 minutes. We don't see you smile with pleasure. So you basically steal chocolate from a child. That's how nasty you are. So what can you, without explaining everything, why is Alice so cantankerous?
Well, like most people that are grumpy, there's a reason why, and it's because she has suffered great loss and heartbreak in her life, but also because she is a nonconformist and is not accepted for that in the society that she lives in, the Second World War. There's a war going on, but she isn't really interested in that. She doesn't put her blackout blinds down, for example. You know, she really doesn't abide by the rules. She dresses differently. Also, she's gay, and not that that's sort of made a big thing out of in the film, but I think she's isolated herself from society in order to protect herself and not grow close to anybody. So she uses her cantankerosity to there you go, don't even know if that's a real word, but to make sure nobody gets close to her.
Yes, and she doesn't care. I mean, maybe she does deep inside, or maybe she used to care. But the way she behaves, the way she dresses, the way she speaks. I mean, you mentioned the incident about stealing the chocolate from the child in the shop, which is right at the beginning of the show, so we can talk about it. You get the impression she's given up on what anyone else thinks about her at all. She is just living the life that she wants, and that's it.
That's right. And I think also she's obsessed with her work. Obsessed. I mean, it takes over her whole house. It is her life. She's one of those people that, especially I think with writers, I know that Jess Whale, who wrote the film, she identifies with this. When you're in the zone of writing, anyone that gets in the way of that will feel the wrath of your anger. But she's completely unapologetic about that, and that's something that I really loved. And also, I think, you know, often with female characters, they are sort of they have to be likable, or, you know, I like Alice because she's unlikable. I enjoyed reading her because she relishes in being difficult.
Yes, she certainly does. But as you've already suggested, that when Frank arrives, played by Lucas Bond, things start to change. You've just mentioned Jessica Swale, who wrote and directed this. You've worked with her before. What is it about your friendship and your relationship which made you want to work again with her?
Well, she's a brilliant mind, and she's got similar outlooks on what she wants to make, aims in terms of telling stories about women, but also with great wit and humor. And so when we worked together on Nell Gwyn, which she wrote, she didn't direct at that time, we just became friends, and it was an instant kind of thing. And since then, we've worked on 4 things together, and we're now writing something together. So it's a real collaboration has formed between us. But she really is the most imaginative person that I've ever met. She really has this incredible mind that can just, and she's also very, very good with character. I think because she could be an actress as well. So she really feels the characters that she's writing. So in all of her writing, and she's got many screenplays that are being made next year, all the characters are really, really rich. And I think that's one of her traits, is she writes brilliant characters for women.
And you're an executive producer on this project, which means what?
Usually an executive producer, in the capacity that I had, which was I had creative say over all of the major casting choices, all of the major artistic choices, for example, like the DP, the production designer. I had access to all the rushes, which I didn't obviously watch. And I could have been a producer on it, but I didn't want to, because I'm in most of the scenes. And so I think there would have been too much, that would have stretched me too much. A normal producer, a regular producer, does everything on the film set, is basically the person that runs the whole show, behind the scenes as well as in front of. So it's a big, massive job. So on the things that I'm usually in a lot of, I prefer to be an executive producer. So that's what I did.
So I think I've got this right. Was it pretty much an all-female crew?
No, this one was a 50-50 crew.
50-50, okay.
Which was even 50% was still a really tricky thing to try and get together. We really, really wanted it to feel like a massive mixture. So our DP was a guy, but our whole of our the amazing Laurie Rose, I must add, but all of the camera crew, the focus puller, the grip, everybody, they were all women. And we had female gaffer and female electricians. So it was the first time I'd ever worked on a film set that had that. And it was, it completely changed dynamic on set. It just felt very inclusive. And usually you have, you know, the different departments that, you know, you'll have your electricians that are usually, you know, real geezers. And so at lunchtime they go off and they do their thing, and the hair and makeup do their thing. Whereas this was like everybody was together and mixed, and it was really one of the most rewarding experiences. Being on set in that way was very collaborative.
And I know these things are done out of sequence, but I think we're about to see you in The King's Man, which is the third in the Kingsman movies. And the word you said, geezer, that's like a geezer series, really. And I wondered what that felt, because I felt, although I enjoyed the last couple, it's sometimes it's been a bit leery. And I just wondered what you felt about that, taking everything that you've just told us about working on this set and then working on that set.
Yeah, well, interestingly, the King's Man is a prequel to the Kingsman film. So it's set in 1916. And it's quite different tonally. It's a historical film. Ray Fiennes is the lead in it. There's like real weight to it. It's a little bit more serious in tone. And I think the vibe on set was quite serious as well. It was, from what I know, it was a slightly different kind of vibe.
Okay.
Although, having said that, I will say it was a bit of a shock for me coming off of Summerland, going on to Kingsman, where I was surrounded by blokes, nice blokes, by the way, and I had a great time making that film. But it did make me think, wow, you know, I forget, because I have my production company, which is all about giving women opportunity in film. So my whole world is about female crew. And then I forget that that's not the reality in the film industry yet. It's, you know, it's getting better, but it definitely isn't there yet. I think I struggled with that a little bit at first, but I'll just keep making suggestions to people. Yeah.
And are you about to be Dusty Springfield?
Oh, I hope so. Well, we I think we're making it in a different capacity now. I think we might be making it as a TV thing rather than a feature film. But I hope so, because it's just such a wonderful story, and I love her and the music. So we'll see.
Yes, and it's interesting that you say, you know, it might be a movie, it might be a TV series, and we mentioned that Summerland is there and it's going to be out in the cinema. That over the last few months, people, I don't know what your take is on this, but the blurring between television and cinema has never been greater than it is now, and you see some fantastic stuff turning up on your television as well as at the movies. It feels as though that you can swap one for the other sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know I do. Although I went to see a screening of The King's Man a couple of weeks ago in a cinema. And it was just a brilliant experience. And I realized I missed going to the cinema, and what a different experience that is, even if you're watching a great film on a big screen in someone's home, you know, that's lucky enough to have a big screen. The event, it's the darkened room and sitting with, you know, others and knowing that you're going out to see a film.
Yes.
That's what makes it magical. And I think, you know, I love the fact that there's more material now and people are more exposed to all sorts of different things watching TV, and there's more access to everything, and that's fantastic, I think. But I still always want to go to the cinema, and hopefully, you know, we can be the first people. Well, we know we're the first people that can show something new, but we hope to reignite this kind of want to go to the cinema and appreciation of it.
And as we reach the end of this conversation, Gemma, it just occurs to me, we haven't even mentioned Gugu Mbatha-Raw, who was on the show just a few months ago, but we've followed her movies over many years, and how fantastic to have the two of you in this picture. My guess is she was a delight to play with. I just feel as though we need to acknowledge the fact that she's in this movie.
Yeah, she is. I mean, she is just the most warm and sunshine. She's a ray of sunshine, and that's why she's perfect in this film, perfectly cast. And we're all friends. You know, Jessica, Gugu, they go back many years and are good old friends. And then I joined the crew, so it was lovely just being the girls together, having a lovely time.
Gemma Arterton, very nice to speak to you again. Thank you so much. All the best with Summerland in the cinemas from today. Thank you, Gemma.
Thank you. Take care.